want to talk to you today about communication and learning. And last week I kind of alluded to it. When we communicate to other people, or we try to train or teach other people, giving patient consents, training a new person to do a new procedure, or just trying to get our thoughts across, we tend to communicate in a fashion that we best learn. In fact, we use our own prejudice about how we learn to interpret how we think other people should learn. And just like with the Colby scores, we realize we have different instincts. We have also different ways to absorb communicated details in ways that we share them. And some people might communicate well with one form, but the person they're talking to maybe doesn't respond to that kind of communication. They learn a different way. So I'm going to talk about like three main forms of communication that I want you to understand. First off, there's one-on-one communication. That's like you're training somebody to do checkout and they're sitting next to you and they're watching and observing and you're explaining to them the pros and cons. It might be for consent for surgery, we're explaining to them the risks and benefits. It might be we're giving somebody aftercare instructions. So that would be one-on-one. So just discussions. And some of us communicate best just through communicating. Some of us learn through writing, the written language. So for example, we talk to them about consents, and we also have them read a consent. We might give them a booklet telling them what to expect after surgery, or what kind of things can go wrong with surgery, what can go right with surgery, what could be expected with surgery. So some people might have a one-on-one best understanding, and some people might do best by reading it themselves, analyzing at home. I'm a writing person. For me, I get maybe overloaded with emails, but I can look at those and read them and understand pretty well. If I'm walking the hallway and somebody says, oh, you got a patient done in 17, I kind of forget right away, but if they give me a piece of paper, I'll remember it. When I was a kid in 5th grade, I had a spelling bee. My dad made a challenge for me to try to win it, and I just memorized the book, and there's no problem. Just got every word right. And then there is, we're doing now, which is a video. Some kind of, we'll call it audiovisual. We'll say AV. When I was a kid, AV meant there was some kid, we always called him the AV nerd, and that was the one that knew how to work the projector or the slide machine. And now, of course, we have computer or audio-visual. And when we're communicating with each other and communicating with our patients, we need to realize you don't know, does the other person communicate best through discussion, through writing, or through audio-visual? But it's going to be one of those three. And this is why for this meeting I'm going to communicate this in all three ways. Now one-on-one I can't with everybody, but I've been bringing this up at meetings lately, especially this past week, in anticipation of discussing this weekend. But let's say you have a patient that's getting a vein procedure done. We have a discussion during the mapping with the consent, the aftercare instructions. We have them watch a video. And then we have them take a quiz and sign a consent. And those patients are very well versed at what could go wrong. In fact, when they have the discoloration of the leg or they get a phlebitis, they kind of expected it because we told them 3 times. Okay? If we told them in one of these forms, they'll say, I don't remember you saying that. And they won't, because maybe this person is not the one-on-one. Anybody that's worked closely with me realizes that I'm not listening to half of what you're saying. Okay? And it's not deliberate. It's just that I'm thinking about something else all the time. So telling me something, not that good. Okay? I might do better with the written. And somebody else might be better watching the video or having some kind of visual effects afterwards. So one-on-one, writing, and audiovisual. And what does this mean to you? Well, depending on where your job's at, you are communicating with people all the time. You may be in a situation where you're communicating with a new employee and you're trying to train a new employee to do your job. In fact, that's one of the biggest flatter you can get is you're training somebody to do your job. That means you're growing. It means you're at a point where we trust you to train someone else, and you're training somebody in our community to get a job to support their family. So that's good, okay? So you should be wanting to train people. Well, you might do one-on-one, and obviously we're doing that. You probably should work on making a little handbook or booklet or written instructions of the steps, because you don't know if they're the written person. And you probably should make a video, and Quentin will help you make videos, or you can just do them with an iPhone. We can get a library for these. We're sending patients home after having a Fraxel procedure or a IPL procedure. We're thinking, we told them to use a vitamin C. How could they forget? Well, that was that one. Did we do this one and this one? Well, we have a system for being able to do that now. We're in the rooms, we have the little Allure text, and you can send them to aftercare videos. And if you don't have one, kind of your responsibility to make one. Okay? Different offices might not be into this yet. We're definitely doing it in Shelby, but that's an option. Writing. having written instructions. Some people respond to that. So keep in mind that the way you might best be suited by the one-on-one and the person you're communicating might be one of these two people. If we give them all three, the likelihood of them not understanding what we're trying to communicate goes down, okay? And if we look at satisfaction with employees, satisfaction with patients, satisfaction after surgery, it is mostly based on good communication, okay? They assume the surgeon's gonna do a good job in the surgery, okay? They assume the veins are gonna be gone. They assume the Botox will make them look less pissed off and tired, okay? They assume these things are gonna happen. But it's a communication of what they expect that'll make it a good or a bad experience. So remember this, one-on-one, written and audiovisual, and I'd like to make it so that virtually everything we have in our office, from training new employees on new things, new procedures, new steps, to communicating with our patients, that we have all three of these resources available, and we're developing systems to be able to get them to those patients. We have one just recently, we got it with being able to text the videos to the patients, so we can really start making a lot of content for videos. We've got a writer that we hired. She's actually right here in a room with me and writing down these notes so she can send you a letter to go along with this message that I'm making on video. And she can help you with writing things you want to send to patients, okay? And then the one-on-one, that's kind of your job, okay? But it's also your job to work on facilitating these two steps. So that's today's Friday Focus. Remember, the way you communicate and learn might prejudice you to thinking that's how your patients and coworkers learn. Thank you very much.